Welcome to this episode of Living Legends. And I am so excited to be on site in Nirvana Soul. And I am here with the two co-owners who will get a chance to introduce themselves. So,
I am Bianca Shalu. I am the co-founder and chief marketing officer.
I am Veronica Macy, and I am the CEO of Nirvana Soul.
all right. So here it is. We get a chance to talk about two sisters.
And sisters.
Black-owned, one of the only, if not the only, black-owned coffee shop in San Jose.
Think so.
And you started 2020 in the middle of a pandemic, so we got a lot to talk about. So let's go back. What led you all to start a coffee shop?
Yeah, so I mean, I can go back to the very beginning. I'm gonna try to keep it sweet. So we were raised by a great grandmother, and she always drank coffee in the morning. So she would give us the last bit of her coffee, and that kind of was like our time together. But I always loved that time. And so when it was time for me to get a job, I was like, I'm gonna apply for this job, like with intentions, like I want to work in a coffee shop. And that job was Pete's Coffee and Tea.
Oh.
And I just went in there, like boldly, bright-eyed. It was like, are you guys hiring? I really want to be a barista. And they were like, okay, like this is back in the day where you just on the spot interview. It was like on the spot, and I just started talking to the manager, and we were vibing. And randomly enough, she was a black woman. Her name was Sabrina. Yeah. And she just was, we were just vibing. So she was like, yeah, like I'm gonna hire you. Like it was like on the spot, you're hired. And I was just so lucky because that team there, I was like 16, 17 at that time. So everyone there was like, in college and a little bit older. So I was like the baby, and they kind of took me under their wing and just like showed me the ropes. And I just loved it. So from the very beginning, I knew I was like, I'm going to have a coffee shop. I was like claiming that ever since then.
Wow.
So yeah.
So you go into peace like, listen, I see what y'all doing.
I see what y'all doing. I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm better. I'm gonna learn everything. Yeah, I'm gonna learn everything I need to learn. Like, if I'm doing something wrong, like let me know. And they were on it. Like, I couldn't get away with anything. They was like, no, this is how you say no. This is how you need to talk to a customer. This is what you need to do. And I just always took that to heart at every shop I went, because I'm like, in my mind, like, okay, I know this is how you want to do that at different shops, but in my mind, Pete's had the best training.
Okay.
And there was things that I got from them, and I'm like, okay, I see why they're doing so well. You guys can be doing this better. And some jobs that I was at, they were like, okay, like, we see you doing your thing, so yeah, just keep doing that, And that's kind of just how I just went down this journey and path. Learned my own way, but took things that I love from places, and things that I didn't love, I kind of was just like, I'm not doing that,
Right.
Yeah, held on to the good and was just like, okay, when we open up, I'm gonna do this way. Yeah.
So like, if you can, like, how much time were you like in the coffee industry before Nirvana? So without fully dating yourself, she wasn't fully 16. She was 8 when she started.
Exactly. I've been doing this for like 20 years. Yes. Yeah, 20 years. Mostly on. I did take a break, went to school, and the way I got back into it was one of my co-workers that I worked with at Pete's in Elk Grove. He just happened to like call me, was just like, hey, there's this new coffee shop that I'm about to start working at, and we need a manager, and I don't know why, I feel like you would be a great manager. And I was like, I'm working on my master's in psychology at this time, and I was just like, I'm out of the coffee game and stuff like that.
Right.
But I knew I wanted to open a coffee shop, but at the time, I was the first one attempting to get my master's, and I was really overwhelmed, and it was a lot, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna take a little break, and I'm gonna get back into it and see, and let me just go on this little interview and see what happens. They was like, yeah, you're hired. So I was like, oh, okay, and that's kind of what started my manager journey. So I went on that journey, and I was just like, okay, yeah, like I really need to figure this out. So even when I was on a break from coffee, I still was like, yeah, I'm gonna open up a coffee shop.
I'm opening a coffee
Yeah,
shop.
I'm gonna open a coffee shop, yeah, for real.
Now, Bianca, what is some of your background? What brought you to Nirvana?
My career is actually in tech. So we are born and raised in San Jose. It's what I say, just the water we swim in, right? Like if I was in LA, I'd be in entertainment. If I was in DC, I'd be in politics. Like I just in tech, right?
Okay.
And so I have spent up until we started Nirvana, so and through, I still have a day job. I was working in marketing for software companies, like from cybersecurity to product value management, just like software, boring stuff. And Veronica actually lived in Sacramento for 10 years and ended up moving back home. And she said she never would move back home, but when she did, she was fortunate to get a job right away at one of the best coffee shops in San Jose at that time. And so when she started working there, they had asked her, like, hey, do you want to come on as like a manager or shift lead or something? And she's like, no, I'm going to open my own shop. And so I was like, Veronica, okay, if you're telling people this is still happening, I'm in a good place in my life where I think that I can work on this with you. So we created a vision board with our friends the winter of 2018, maybe. 2018, yeah. And on there, we both said that we would open Nirvana Soul. And so it kind of just progressed from there. I still have my job. I'm just like someone who's a crazy how person. Like I'm really into operations and figuring out how to get from point A to point B. And Veronica's there like the visionary. She's like, she has this big dream and this thing that she sees so clearly. And I'm like, okay, I know you see good, but here are the steps.
Right.
So let's take
before you get over there.
Exactly. There's a few steps we have in between. And it just happened to be a really good balance.
Yeah.
You know, we worked so well together that we started with this vision board and this Google search of how to open a coffee shop. And literally we just
Googled it.
Yeah, we did. We just Googled and then we just started calling numbers on vacancies in downtown. And we didn't really know what we were doing, but I had an idea of what we should try, which is like using the resources around and, you know, like stuff from our background and experience. She knew coffee, I knew marketing, and we're like, okay, like
let's make it work.
Let's make it work.
Wow. Okay, so you both said it. So this is 2018, but you said that you've had the name for a while, right? So now how long have you had the name, and what does the name mean?
Yeah, so I got the name 10 years before we even opened up the shop. Wow. Yeah, and so I was like Nirvana, you know, I'm a spiritual person, and I was just like, Paradise Coffee doesn't sound good, because I was looking up different names, and I'm like, what sounds like vibey, but like that has like true meaning that can like resonate with people. And another word for paradise was like Nirvana, and then like that is one that's like the closest like to God. And so I was just like, I love that. I want to have a place that's gonna, you know, bring people together. And so it was just first like Nirvana Coffee, but I kept like, man, Nirvana's it. Like for me, there was like no turning back. I was like, that just sounds like that's it. But I was like, Nirvana Coffee just doesn't sound. It's missing something.
Right. Nirvana Coffee.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, that ain't it. And I was, you know, I love R&B music too. So I was just like, you know, like looking at like soulful stuff one day, and I was just like, Nirvana Soul, it just came to me. And I said, Nirvana Soul, that's it. So
it makes so much sense.
Yeah, so I just like told my friend, and I was like, so, you know, it just resonates just like who we are as like the people. And I was just like, in its own meaning, and I was just like, they just go well together. So that was the name.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. And it makes sense. Like you come in, it's neo soul music playing. I mean, it's a variety of different. It's all these amazing connections. And so now 10 years ago you got it. 2018 we do Vision Board. You guys are doing this together. 2020, you guys said, hey, we got it. We in it, right? So when
exactly. Those are the words.
I feel like y'all like this. Hey, we in it, right? Like that's how it goes. So when did you actually open the first store in 2020?
Our anniversary was actually September 26, 2020.
September 26th. So pandemic shuts the world down in March. And you all say, shut the world down, we're going to open up.
Well, we actually said, this is probably only going to be a couple weeks. They just told us to go home for 2 weeks. So we were like, we're already in motion. Like we were in the process of closing escrow on our first location, and we were trying to get an SBA loan. And so really around the same time the shelter in place is around the same time we got our SBA loan. So we didn't really have much of a choice at that point.
Yeah, we couldn't.
You gotta go.
Yeah, we already, and we had already committed that we would never stop no matter what comes up. Obviously, we didn't realize
What you're
The
saying?
world was on.
We in it.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
didn't
we're
know
in it.
anything about a pandemic.
Yeah.
But we were like, by the time we like make our renovations, like everything will be back to normal. Like, so it should be fine. And so it was a good 6 months later, and like people were still in their houses. And when we had our grand opening, it was the first time most people had been out of their homes in that same time, 6 months. Yeah, they came out, they supported us. We had a line like down the block and around the corner of people supporting us.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So September 2020, you opened your first location.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of a pandemic, and it seems like things are going well. So much so that, like, what is it, a year, 2 years later, you're at a second location?
No.
2 years.
Well, what's 2 years?
Yeah,
So
like
we
a
had-
year and a half, because April 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in between that, we also had opened up a roastery.
Okay.
We roast our own coffee.
Okay. All right. We need to step back. So
Yeah.
2020, opened this location.
Yes, downtown San Jose.
Then what comes next?
Roastery in 2021, North San Jose.
Then.
Then Cupertino location, April 2022.
Like, this is, so how do you all now deal with, because it seems like this is growing, probably outpacing what you expected. And
Yeah.
we knew we were going to have multiple locations.
We're very ambitious. So
Okay, yeah.
when we set out to do this, Veronica's dream was always to have like a community hub, like a Love Jones kind of vibe,
Yeah.
like an independent
Family.
shop. Yeah.
My
Like
wife
that.
does it.
Chicago.
It's like,
There you
represent.
So yeah, that was her dream, and we were living it. I think we had just started doing open mics and everything. And then, but in that time when she was coming to me with her dream, I was like, look, if I want to be a part of this, I want us to do it as big as we can do it, because it's going to be hard no matter what. So we just put a number out there and said 20 shops. So that's our goal.
She put a number out there and said 20 shops. I was like, some Gilmore Girls, small town, just want a one little coffee shop. Everyone knows everybody, and we're good. But I think once we opened and we saw how much of an impact that we were making in the city,
And it was filling a need for so many people.
yeah, especially people that look like us had never seen anything like this before, and we're like, we need to bring this to other communities to provide hope in them. Like, this is not enough, you know what I'm saying? So if we're able to do it, then we need to do it, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
And we don't need to be in areas that just with people that look like us. We need to be in areas where people
There
that
are none of
actually
those
don't
that
look like
exist
us,
here.
Right.
so that the people that live there, that they come out, because people like saying all the time, I didn't know there was this many black people in San Jose, you know, like they're all here at Nirvana Soul, but we see them in Cupertino, and it's just like, if people don't feel safe, they don't have a place that they go to that they feel safe, it's just like, we're not doing our part, you know?
And we truly do belong everywhere.
We do.
And it's just been so limited in what people feel comfortable being a part of and going to. And we just want to create as many safe spaces and as many communities as we can.
Yeah, I mean, and to provide hope. I mean, I grew up not seeing
Yeah, we didn't have anything like
any black businesses, period, you know what I'm saying? And so it's pretty wild when you have like little kids come in and they see our hair that's out, like you'll see like, you know, my afro or curly hair,
the artwork,
the artwork, and they're just like, wow, like they want, it's a possibility that they didn't see. And I'm like, that's pretty cool because we didn't have that, you know?
Absolutely.
So now you have the the green light to just fly and do anything that you want to do, because now you see it's most definitely a possibility.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we can think about this on, you know, a variety of different levels. We see, you know, the Williams sisters do this in tennis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Absolutely.
in many ways, you guys are like the Williams sisters of coffee right now.
I've never heard
You're killing it. Y'all killing it. So listen, Venus and Serena, y'all get ready. I had to throw that in. All right. So now, for those that may be watching that may not understand the coffee industry well enough, what is a roastery versus a coffee shop?
Yeah, so a roastery is a place where we actually roast the beans. So we actually buy green coffee from all over the world,
Okay.
and we have it shipped. It goes to Oakland, and we pick it up, and we have a roaster, giant machine that actually makes the coffee. So from there, we bring the coffee to the shops, we bag it up, and we also ship coffee all over the world. So like you can go on our website and buy coffee online too. So that's a roastery. But fun fact, we are opening up our roastery for tours.
Wow.
So people who want to like, for a little date night, a little
Come see the process.
work party like situation. It's fun to kind of see the process and do a cupping and seeing like the different coffees, what they taste like, and just hearing the story of the different origins of like the things that the people go through from just growing the cherry, which is like what the coffee bean comes from, and seeing that process through and the different processes that are amongst that situation. So it gets a lot, it just opens your eyes a lot too, because you're just like, time the coffee gets in, our hand, you're just like, okay, this is it. But I like the story that people who have like generations and that's all they do, like, of having these coffee farms and it's in their family, like generations, that's what they're doing, you know what I'm saying? And it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's huge. So now we have 2020 here, San Jose. Then 2021, Roastery. 2022,
Cupertino.
And apparently there's works for 2023.
Yes.
So what's happening? I hear there's something new coming 2023.
Something new is coming. We are opening our third coffee shop location at San Jose State at the Martin Luther King Library. That is going to be happening at the end of October, and we're actually just so excited about that partnership and getting the chance to be on another side of downtown, here again in our hometown, and just reach so many more people. Like in sort of an elevated dining experience, partnering with their chefs in a way that we would have always wanted to do here. That had resources, not limitation, and it's just an awesome opportunity to bring both of our brands and company and school together.
You're catering to the students, but you're also still catering to the community, and you're still bringing people together, which is our mission. And I just think that's amazing. And it's the MLK library.
Absolutely.
So
that's just so significant.
I know he drunk coffee.
That's just huge, and I think that, like I always say, if we don't open up any other shops, it's like a blessing that we even had the opportunity to make this, that they come this far. So I'm super excited about San Jose.
That's
sure.
That's huge. So then, what have been some of your challenges? Like, growing this fast, coffee shop, black owned, women owned. I mean, there are probably a number of different ways that we can look at that. What have been some of your challenges that you've been able to work through in the process of it?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely layered and multidimensional, and I think the one we always cite right away, because it's not just unique to us, but more challenging for us, is the financing piece, right? Like, black businesses, whether you're in coffee or in tech, you're just not getting money. So we are operating very lean with far less than any of our peers, and we're just trying to make it work, right? So we're always in a fundraising mode, constant. It is just part of the business, and that's something I didn't realize was going to be the case. I kind of thought, one and done, once you get that initial SBA loan, but that is just not how it works. The margins are so razor thin in coffee. And there's so much that we are trying to explore, make sure our teams are getting paid well. There's just a lot that goes into it. And so, we are learning how to become way better fundraisers. And Dap, our CFO, is very involved. He is the one who is out there on the pavement making it happen, which is really incredible that we all can fill those gaps for each other in that way. But it is hard, and we are just doing the best that we can every day to keep showing the value of this business. And fortunately, we have customers and our baristas and team that they do that for us every day. Wow. Your challenges?
I think my challenges will be just like operations. I think just being with the team and then having to as we're growing, it's like you're spending less time in this store because you're trying to focus on this store. And then Also, we didn't even mention catering is a huge part of our company.
Wow.
Huge part of our
catering and events,
Yeah, catering and events. So I mean, like we have a coffee shop at Intuit right now, and yeah, so we have all these different little partnerships that we like work with.
We just popped up with Deanza, their little cafe, Jazz Fest.
Yeah, so I often feel like I'm just like everywhere, you know, and it's just like, but I'm not spending like enough time, and so I think it's just trying to find that balance still, but also trying to give myself grace because I'm like, y'all don't know Mrs. Starbucks, so why y'all acting like this? You know what I'm saying? And I think just being okay with like, if I can't do it, I can't do it. I think because it's like we're Black women, we just put ourselves on this like, you know, there's a standard that I feel like we have, oh my gosh, the expectation is so high, you know, of not wanting to let people down, like my staff down, like my team, executive team down, the customers down. And so I think that's something that I still like deal with on certain days, but I think that is just a part of it. It's just really believing in our company, and believing in this community and just wanting to like make sure that we're just making people proud. So,
yeah. Boundaries are definitely tough.
Yeah, for sure.
And thinking about boundaries, so now sisters actually working together. I know oftentimes it's challenging to work with family or those that you're really close with. How have you all been able to navigate those waters to work together and build what you do?
It's pretty funny because we've actually been close our whole life.
Okay.
So
we're
11
months apart.
Yeah, we're only unique. Yeah, and same mom, same dad. But I gotta say that.
I know.
That is so funny. We got the same mama, the same daddy. Like, yes.
I know we don't look alike.
Apparently, they just needed a television in their bedroom. But
but yeah, we've always been close, and because we have like I always like you stay in your own lane, right? Bianca is amazing at what she does, like marketing, like everything that she does for the company. She's so amazing at, you know what I'm saying? And then Dad, he is like our CFO, so he's like
money man.
Yeah, you can't do this, we can do this, you know what I'm saying? He's very strict, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then I'm like with the team. And so once in a while they're like, okay, Jay, do this. I can say, hey, Dad, like, we need you to do this. And it's always out of place of love. There's never any like, you know, chaos in that way. But it's, for the most part, we stay in our lanes and we trust each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know we're lucky that we really have 3 people who, like, the 3 parts that you need to run this business, really trying to like giving their 100% all to their role, and that is like amazing in itself. People are like, I don't know how you guys do it.
And I think at the end of the day, like me and Jordan are gonna be solid. Always.
Yeah.
If none of this works out, we still gonna be sisters and be like, we did that.
Right.
That was
we killed it for 3 years. That's amazing.
That was amazing. Yeah.
We'd be fine.
Yeah.
So we have that perspective of being so close and knowing that there's nothing that would like break this thing up between us. That like, I don't know, it makes the hard days a little bit easier.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think when I'm having a day, she's up, and then when she's having a day, then I'm up. So it's kind of just like we balance that balance. Yeah.
So now we have all of this. So of course, I mean, the story is amazing. The story is not over. Right?
No.
So, like, what is making you all most excited now? I mean, you've accomplished a lot already, and I hope you never feel like, oh, we got it. You could stop right here and be amazing. Please don't. But like, what is getting you excited? What are you looking forward to for this Nirvana summer?
Yeah, I'm still really excited about San Jose State. It's coming up quickly, and I remember we made the announcement on the first day of Black History Month this year, and it was just so iconic and historically significant to so many people, and we're literally asked about this every day. Like, people are real life excited, like, where can I apply? Like, I want to work there, like, when is this opening? And so I just think it's going to be like a party, and everyone's just going to have a blast, and I love that we can still create that level of excitement amongst people who follow us and who've been with us on this ride since before we opened, right? Like, we had like digital assets, we had a blog, we had our social media for like a year and a half before we even opened this shop. We had nothing, and people have been with us. People were writing and live with Tronica, like with her free drink cards. And so every time we do something like that, that excitement, it bubbles up all over again. People are like, oh my gosh, like it's like your favorite artist is blowing up, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I can listen to y'all
Right.
before
I remember
anybody
when,
did.
right.
Yeah.
I remember when, let's tell a story or a situation.
Yeah.
You know?
So yeah, I get excited, I guess, like everyone else's excitement around these things we're still able to achieve.
She just said it. I get excited off of other people's excitement, you know? Because it is a blessing to be here, especially if someone say, hey, we're black women, we're doing something.
This is not easy,
It's
especially
not easy.
here. And that's the part people don't really talk about. Like, we're doing this in one of the most expensive places in the world.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
So,
Like, because we leaving. That's why it's not that many. We don't need to be here for this.
yeah, like, numbers are dwindling.
Yes.
Right.
Wow.
We're intentional about the people that we hire too, and I think we just have some people on the team that just get it, and you just like you're going to be so amazing. You're going to go do it. So it's like they're a part of our story, but we're also a part of their story.
Yeah.
And I think if we're able to make that impact for me, that is what gets me excited. You know, and being okay that not everyone's going to get it, but when you make impact with somebody, and you're just like, man, I'm seeing your life change before my eyes.
Yeah.
Like,
It's so special.
yeah, it's so special, you know what I'm saying? And you're like, this is why we're doing this, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Forgive me, I'm about to let my pastor hang out. Because I'm like, I'm hearing the elements of faith from early, like, you have to tell the story. How is it that you are driving Lyft with cards for a coffee shop that does not exist? Like, I can't help but hear the elements of faith.
So it's funny because I like to say, I have crazy faith, but it's weird. Not always. I struggle with faith, and I feel like Nirvana Soul was a woman that was constant. Like we always say, Bianca had a lot of green lights growing up.
Okay.
I had a lot of red lights growing up. You know, I'm the oldest. I had like more responsibility. We were like latchkey kids. It was a lot, and I had a lot of no's, and so. I think that I struggled a lot with kind of just having like hope that things will work out. But I feel like God always put like that Nirvana soul on my heart, you know. I actually tried to open up a coffee shop when I was 22. And back then it was just like zero hope. Like
none.
Girl, go to college and stop trying to dream.
I was still in college. I was not part of it at all.
Like, we don't have no money. I'm just focusing on school.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, I wasn't like, it's not gonna happen. I'm just like, this is not the time now. And it's like any of my friends that grew up with us, and Bianca would say, like, I always like, oh, I'm gonna have a coffee shop one day. Like I wasn't like, I'm gonna get married one day. I'm gonna have a whole bunch of kids one day. You know, I was just like, I'm gonna have a coffee shop one day. You know, because like we had mentioned earlier, like. I grew up in a ministry. I did children's ministry for a long time. I was in college ministry for a while. So I think just being around people and just having like that community, but also being in the coffee industry for so long, it's just seeing the connection you make with people that was just like, this is what we like need, you know what I'm saying? This could really alter someone's day. Like you come in the morning on your way to work or whatever, you don't know what these people are going through, and this is your chance to really make an impact on someone's day that could be going through depression, could be going through whatever situation, good, bad, or ugly at home, and you could really alter a person's day just based on a few seconds of conversation with them. And I was just like, okay, like, you know, use me to be that person that can like give that person hope in whatever form that might be, you know.
Absolutely.
So there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, that's definitely a God thing.
Absolutely.
You know? And I always stay true to that. Like my sound will tell you, like my friends and family will tell you. And so yeah, that's kind of just Nirvana Soul. That's the name and everything. I'm just like,
absolutely. And what a great gift, right? When we can think about the ways that God works in us, that it doesn't have to be the church or the community of faith, like directly or institutionally.
Your ministry is your ministry.
Your ministry is your ministry, right? Like, and how we can do that in the private square, how we can do that in the public square. It's just amazing, kind of amazing story. So, all right, I always love to ask this. So, I mean, the story is still continuing. You all are probably our youngest legends. So, somebody's listening to this story, maybe out there trying to start their own business, out there trying to hold on to their own dreams. What would you hope that they could take or remember from your story?
I think our story is one of inspiration and possibility. So our motto, the thing that helped us through, and it's written on all the walls in our shops, our roastery, is that we can do hard things. And there have been so many tough times getting this business going. Stuff wasn't adding up. We were just earlier talking about today, like, why can't anything be smooth? Like, you can do hard things. And I think a lot of us haven't heard that enough to help us get over the hump when just because something's hard doesn't mean it's impossible, right? Like, and I think that's been a red light or a stop sign for people, and we just want to encourage people to push beyond that, because the thing inside of you, that magic inside of you, there's a reason it's there and it needs to come out. There's a reason why Veronica had that. Like, to have it come out in this amazing way is helping other people. So yeah, I think that's kind of the lesson and message we always want to hit people with. Like, you can do hard things.
Man, that's gonna be a sermon title. Y'all can hear that soon. I'm gonna credit you for it.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, just keep going. Another one is inspire and be inspired. I think that you have to be willing to, like, be okay being vulnerable. That's a part of the game. There's some mornings I wake up, even though have these shops, and I'm just like, I get nervous still. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we had to have a big speaking engagement, or we had to have a crazy event where there's going to be thousands of people there and stuff like that, I'm like, man, like, are people going to like our coffee? Are they going to come? But you have to just keep going, you know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes we kind of sell ourselves short, and they're just like, maybe we let that fear kind of take over. But I'm just like, what if you're asked to get on the other side of that? Like, what would it look like if you pushed past that fear, you know? And that's something that I personally have to overcome. Bianca's more like, anything is possible on the other side. And I'm kind of just like, can we make this happen, you know? And I think over the years, I've gotten more like, okay, yeah, like, let's do it. And Bianca just told me sometimes, like, who are you?
This is
confident.
Yeah.
So I want to encourage
Confidence
people.
is built on previous successes. So
That is true.
but
That
it
is
means
true.
you keep going.
And yeah, it means that you have to be okay letting yourself, putting yourself out there and saying, I don't know something, being comfortable saying that, and being okay when you hear no's, because you're going to hear so many no's. Not everyone's going to want to help you, and that's okay, you know what I'm saying? But what if someone is like, I do want to help you, you know what I'm saying? Like,
We love your story.
Yeah,
we want to be a part of it.
Exactly.
We've had a couple of those.
We've had
a few of those.
Yeah, and so you just never know. And I'm like, you know, you have to say yes to everybody, but it's just like, you know, the people that are supposed to be a part of your story, a part of your journey, and just hold on to that. So just keep walking. Yeah.
Well, let me say thank you. Thank you for your support. I mean, we filmed here a couple of times before. Always so gracious. Gift cards for our church picnic, which was absolutely amazing. We want to make sure we continue to tell that story, because this is an amazing story. It's an amazing business. I'm excited for kind of what's in front of you all.
We love seeing your members come through.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Excited.
Absolutely. So, what a gift. Well, again, let me say thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time.
Look at it.
I know, he's a natural.
I mean, you have to be when you talking in front of the church.
I just ask questions.
Yeah.
Well, let me thank you all too for this installment of Living Legends. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. And if you haven't, stop by a Nirvana Soul location. Get you some coffee, get you some food. It's definitely worth it. God bless you. Peace.
Bye.